Michael Jackson's life was characterized by relentless media scrutiny, inundated with a barrage of allegations and rumors about his personal affairs. Among those deeply impacted by his passing was his sister, Janet Jackson, with whom he shared a profound bond. Michael's death inflicted a profound pain upon her, intensifying the need to uncover the truth. Now, after 15 years, Janet Jackson has decided to unveil the startling revelations about her brother's life. Join us as we delve into Janet Jackson's revelations about Michael Jackson, exploring the shocking truths that lie beneath the surface. Michael said music was always his family's destiny. Just 25 miles away from downtown Chicago lies Gary, where Joseph "Joe" Jackson settled at the age of 18. It was in Gary that he met and courted his future wife, Catherine Screws. The couple married in 1949 and went on to have 10 children over a span of 16 years. Rebby, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, LaToya, Marlon, Brandon, Marlon's twin who died shortly after birth, Michael, Randy, and Janet. Reflecting on their early days, Catherine fondly recalled her first encounter with Joe during an interview with ABC News in 2009, saying, "I just had a feeling that he would be my husband. The first time I saw him, I fell in love with him. Really, he was so nice. He tries to be tough now." After tying the knot, Joe and Catherine settled into a modest two-bedroom house at the corner of Jackson Street and 23 Avenue. Despite his aspirations in boxing and music, Joe prioritized providing for his family and worked tirelessly as a welder and crane operator at U.S. Steel, often juggling multiple jobs simultaneously. Catherine, a devoted Jehovah's Witness, dedicated herself to homemaking and nurturing her children's musical talents. Recalling their upbringing in Gary, Michael reminisced, "We were a family that sang all the time. We would take the furniture out of the living room and dance. We would have a songwriting competition while we washed the dishes, while we were cleaning. Music was our destiny." From an early age, Michael discovered that his childhood differed from that of other kids. In Jermaine's memoir, You Are Not Alone, Michael Through a Brother's Eyes, he recounts an incident when he was 8 and Michael was 4, peering out from their house at the festive homes across the street. "We observed all this from inside a house with no tree, no lights, no nothing. Our tiny house was the only one without decoration. We felt it was the only one in Gary, Indiana, but Mother assured us that, no, there were other homes and other Jehovah's Witnesses who did not celebrate Christmas. But that knowledge did nothing to clear our confusion. We could see something that made us feel good, yet we were told it wasn't good for us." The Jackson family's musical journey began when Tito, against his father's wishes, secretly tinkered with Joe's guitar. According to Michael's 1988 autobiography Moonwalk, Joe had safeguarded this guitar from his own days as a musician, strictly forbidding his children from touching it. However, one day Tito dared to defy this rule, inadvertently breaking a guitar string in the process. Terrified of Joe's wrath, Tito hid. But when their father demanded to see what he could do with the guitar, Tito stepped up, astonishing his father and planting the seed for a musical venture involving his siblings. The Jackson Brothers. In 1963, the Jackson Brothers was born, consisting of Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine. They began participating in local talent shows and competitions, and by 1965, Joe had incorporated younger brothers Marlon and Michael into the lineup, rechristening them as the Jackson 5 in 1966. Thus, Joe transitioned from being a father to a manager, guiding his children's musical careers. Joe Jackson was known for his strict discipline, enforcing lengthy and rigorous rehearsals to ensure his sons' songs and routines were polished. However, this approach to their upbringing would later become a source of regret for Michael. Throughout his life, Michael lamented the loss of his childhood, feeling as though he grew up too quickly in an adult world. In a 2002 interview with Gold magazine, he reflected, "I grew up on stage. I grew up in nightclubs. When I was 7, 8 years old, I was in nightclubs. I saw striptease girls take off all their clothes. I saw fights break out. I saw people throw up on each other. I saw adults act like pigs. The Jackson girls also experienced their father's demanding expectations and emotional distance. Janet recalled a moment when her father corrected her for calling him Dad, insisting, "You call me Joseph. I'm Joseph to you." Joe was known to swiftly discipline any child who stepped out of line. Michael once confided to Oprah Winfrey that he was so fearful of his father that it would make him physically ill. Physical punishment was not uncommon, with Michael recalling during a 2003 TV interview, "I just remember hearing my mother scream, 'Joe, you're gonna kill him, stop it.' I was so fast he couldn't catch me half the time, but when he would catch me, oh my God, it was bad. It was really bad." Michael remembered his father sitting in a chair with a belt in hand, observing his son's rehearsals and poised to reprimand them for any mistakes. He also recounted instances of verbal abuse, particularly his father repeatedly criticizing his fat nose. In a 2009 interview with ABC News, Joe defended his parenting style, stating, "Michael was never beat, as they call it, and everyone spanked their kids when they did wrong, but not beat. Catherine spanked Michael more than I did, 'cause I was working 2 jobs and she was at home with him the most." During a 2013 CNN interview, Joe expressed pride in his tough approach, saying, "I was glad I was tough because look what I came out with. I came out with some kids that everybody loved all over the world, and they treated everybody right," leaving Gary and relocating to Los Angeles. After the Jackson 5 gained momentum, the family made the decision to leave Gary and relocate to Los Angeles. The pivotal moment came in 1967 when the Jackson 5 won an amateur talent competition at New York's Apollo Theater. Recognizing their potential, Joe made the bold move to transition the group into the professional sphere. 2 years later, he secured a contract with Motown Records for his sons, joining esteemed acts such as Stevie Wonder, The Supremes, and Smokey Robinson on the label, with iconic hits like "I Want You Back," "Never Can Say Goodbye," "I'll Be There," and "ABC." The Jackson 5 dominated the late 60s and early 70s airwaves, selling over 100 million records worldwide. Following their signing to Motown, Joe decided it was time to uproot the family from Gary to Los Angeles. Reflecting on their upbringing during a 2011 interview with ABC News, Jermaine expressed gratitude for their father's tough but supportive approach, saying, "We wouldn't want to be raised any other way. It's hard raising 9 kids, bringing them from Indiana out here to Los Angeles. That was his whole thing, wanting to keep his family together. And if he didn't do anything else, he brought us out. He taught us everything we knew about becoming what we became." Janet Jackson's strained relationship with her brother Michael Jackson. In her new documentary for Lifetime and A&E, Janet candidly delves into the complexities of her relationship with her legendary brother. She reveals that Michael used to fat-shame her, and as they grew older, they drifted apart. Janet disclosed that their dynamic shifted significantly after Michael achieved superstardom with the release of his album Thriller in 1982. "There were times when Mike used to tease me and call me names: pig, horse, slaughterhog, cow. He would laugh about it, and I'd laugh too, but deep down, it would hurt. When someone says you're too heavy, it affects you," Janet shared. The turning point in their relationship occurred after the release of the Thriller album. Janet reminisced, "I remember really loving the Thriller album, but for the first time, I felt a difference between the two of us, like a shift was happening. He would always come into my room and we'd talk, but this time he came in and neither of us said a word. Then he got up and left. That's when Mike and I started drifting apart. He just wasn't as fun as he used to be." Additionally, Janet discussed collaborating with Michael on the song Scream in 1995, but they often found themselves distanced during the music video shoot. "Michael shot at night. I shot during the day. His record company would block off his set so I couldn't see what was going on. They didn't want me on set. That really hurt me because I felt I was there, fighting the fight with him, not battling him. I wanted it to feel like old times between us, but it didn't. Those times had long passed, Janet expressed. Janet Jackson finally gets over her brother's death. Michael Jackson passed away in June 2009 due to cardiac arrest induced by an overdose of the anesthetic Propofall. Since her brother's tragic death, pop star Janet Jackson has been grappling with her grief, initially suppressing her emotions to cope with the loss. However, Janet acknowledges that she is now beginning to confront her brother's death and work towards healing her broken heart. I was finally able to start grieving. I was in Paris, and it was one of those moments, Janet reveals. At some point, you have to move on, and I'm trying to do that. But it is really difficult. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think about him. Not one day, not one day. Acknowledging the importance of processing her emotions, Janet admits, I'm kind of pushing myself, forcing myself to a certain degree to get over this because it's not the healthiest. I just spent the night in Paris watching all his videos and listening to his music. There were moments when I cried and moments that made me laugh. It was good for me. I needed it. Propofall and Michael Jackson's death. Michael Jackson's death is still a mystery. Michael Jackson had requested the anesthetic Propofall to aid his sleep at least 10 years before his death from an overdose of the drug. Dr. Christine Quinn recounted that Jackson had called her to a Beverly Hills hotel around 1998 or 1999, requesting Propofall after they met during his dental procedures. Quinn declined the request, explaining to Jackson that anesthesia wasn't suitable for sleep. I told him that the sleep you get with anesthesia is not real sleep, not restful sleep, Quinn recalled. Jackson insisted that his time under anesthesia was the best sleep he had experienced. However, Quinn stated she administered anesthesia for subsequent procedures, but never gave Propofall post their meeting, and Jackson never requested it again or asked to be kept under longer than necessary. Another testimony came from Cherilyn Lee, a nurse practitioner, who revealed that in April 2009, just over 2 months before his death, Jackson told her he needed Propofall to sleep. Despite her warnings about its dangers, Jackson insisted, claiming doctors assured him it was safe as long as he was monitored. His demeanor was, I have to have this. I have to have this to sleep. You don't understand. I have not had a good night's sleep, Lee recounted. Jackson did not receive Propofall from Lee. An expert hired by the company, Dr. Petros Levunis, suggested Jackson was a doctor shopping for opioid medications. However, attorneys representing Jackson's mother acknowledged his struggles with prescription drugs, but emphasized he primarily received anesthesia and medications during medical and dental procedures, refuting claims that he was an addict. Michael Jackson's death was a setup. Who truly bears responsibility for Michael Jackson's death, and why was he seemingly targeted for years? His family members are still grappling with these questions, seeking answers and a thorough understanding of what transpired. Paris Jackson, the 18-year-old daughter of the late pop icon Michael Jackson, and Janet Jackson have made startling claims, suggesting that her father was murdered. In her first ever in-depth interview, she shared her conviction that Jackson's death was not accidental, but rather a premeditated act. Paris asserted that her family and genuine fans are aware of this belief, stating, all arrows point to that. It sounds like a total conspiracy theory, and it sounds like bullshit, but all real fans and everybody in the family knows it. It was a setup. It was bullshit. Janet Jackson shares a sentiment that Michael Jackson's death might have been orchestrated, a suspicion echoed by other family members. LaToya, Michael Jackson's sister, expressed doubts about the circumstances surrounding her brother's demise. I truly feel that Conrad Murray is simply the scapegoat. It seems like a premeditated plan to take my brother out, something he repeatedly warned me about. According to LaToya, Michael believed someone coveted his catalogs, explaining, it's because of my catalog, which is my publishing, and they're after it. and they want it, and they want their hands on it, and they want to take it away from me. This wasn't the first time LaToya had mentioned Michael Jackson's apprehensions. In an interview with CNN, she revealed Michael's fears of being murdered, stating, "He was afraid. He was afraid." LaToya recounted the ominous atmosphere on the fateful night of his passing, where Michael sensed his end was near. After his passing, individuals he had expressed suspicions about took control of his estate. LaToya didn't shy away from naming Dr. Tomei, who managed Michael's affairs toward the end of his life. With Tomei's influence, key figures close to Michael were ousted, allowing him to steer Michael towards ventures beneficial to him and his associates. It appears someone had a hidden agenda. The consensus among Michael Jackson's family members that his death was orchestrated suggests there's substance to their claims. In addition to family assertions, Kanye West has openly hinted at foul play, known for his controversial Twitter rants. In one instance, he cryptically referenced Michael Jackson's warnings about someone named Tommy before his demise, amidst a flurry of other statements. Kanye's mention of Tommy likely refers to Michael Jackson's strained relationship with former Sony CEO Tommy Mottola, spanning from his Dangerous album in 1991 to Invincible a decade later. Michael Jackson publicly criticized Mottola, accusing him and the record companies of conspiring against artists, particularly black ones. Michael Jackson's ownership of Sony's publishing rights further escalated tensions, leading to his denouncement of Mottola as devilish. Given Mottola's contentious history with Michael Jackson and his alleged manipulative behavior, suspicions linger that he may have played a role in Michael Jackson's death. Beyond personal vendettas, theories also exist implicating the Illuminati, fueled by Michael Jackson's acquisition of significant publishing rights, which allegedly made him a target for elimination. These speculations shed light on the multifaceted motives and potential players behind Michael Jackson's untimely demise. The feud between Michael Jackson and Tommy Mottola. In his recent Twitter tirade, Kanye West pointed fingers at former Sony Music Entertainment CEO and chairman Tommy Mottola, insinuating his involvement in Michael Jackson's demise. West's tweet, though now deleted, stirred interest among fans, prompting questions about the purported conflict between the late pop icon and Mottola. The rift between Jackson and Mottola dates back to 2002 when Jackson publicly criticized Sony and Mottola, his then label, during a press conference with Reverend Al Sharpton. Accusing the music industry of racial discrimination, Jackson singled out Mottola as a central figure, orchestrating unfair treatment toward black artists. Jackson's condemnation of Mottola wasn't subtle. He held up a poster portraying Mottola with devilish imagery and brandished a picket sign reading, "Sony Music Kills." His scathing remarks, coupled with visual symbolism, highlighted his deep-seated animosity towards Mottola and the alleged injustices within the music industry. Jackson's passing in 2009, attributed to a Propofall overdose administered by his doctor Conrad Murray, marked a tragic end to the iconic musician's life. In a twist of fate, Sony's acquisition of a 60% stake in EMI Music Publishing in 2018 granted the label control over Jackson's estate. Following Kanye West's assertions implicating Jackson's former record label in his demise, some Twitter users echoed his sentiments, entertaining conspiracy theories suggesting Mottola's involvement in orchestrating Jackson's death. These theories speculated about Mottola dispatching doctors to Jackson's Neverland Ranch with sinister intentions. However, none of these claims have been substantiated with concrete evidence. Michael Jackson's life revolved around a series of scandals. Yet let's delve deeper into the achievements of a musical prodigy. Is Michael Jackson truly a genius with innate talents? His exceptional vocal abilities, including a remarkable 4-octave vocal range and one of the finest falsettos in music history, led to speculation that he may have undergone chemical castration as a child. Despite lacking any formal dance training, Michael Jackson showcased dance skills that surpassed even legendary masters like Fred Astaire and Bob Fosse. Astaire praised Jackson's exceptional moves, calling him the best dancer of the century and emphasizing his phenomenal talent. Similarly, Fosse marveled at Jackson's speed and precision, declaring him the best dancer since Astaire. Despite his lack of formal training, Jackson's innate ability to execute every movement with completeness and swiftness earned him recognition as a dance genius. His extraordinary talent was further acknowledged when he became the only pop and rock artist ever to be inducted into the Dance Hall of Fame. Michael Jackson had a remarkable ability to compose songs purely through intuition, despite lacking the ability to read or write music. Additionally, he was proficient in playing multiple musical instruments, including the drums, guitar, and piano. It was not uncommon for him to create a complete song within a mere 5 minutes. Michael Jackson possessed an incredibly versatile vocal range that allowed him to effortlessly cover a wide array of musical genres, including pop, rock, disco, soul, R&B, hip-hop, and funk. His adaptability across various styles showcased his immense talent and versatility as a vocalist. Michael Jackson displayed remarkable skill in both dancing and singing simultaneously, excelling in both disciplines with equal proficiency. He had the ability to create spontaneous dance moves on the spot, often introducing iconic and signature dance moves that became synonymous with his performances. Michael Jackson had the remarkable talent of mimicking every musical instrument with his voice and was also an exceptional beatboxer. At just 6 years old, Michael Jackson sang challenging soul songs like Who's Loving You and Ain't No Sunshine, all without a single singing lesson. His talent was evident from an early age, as he performed Climb Every Mountain at his first school performance when he was only 5 years old. By the age of 9, Rolling Stone recognized his prodigious talent, cementing his status as a musical prodigy. At the age of 2, Michael Jackson displayed remarkable coordination by dancing to the rhythm of his mother's washing machine. While most toddlers are just learning to walk at that age, Michael was already demonstrating his innate talent for dance with synchronized movements. Michael Jackson was a visionary who revolutionized the music industry by transforming the music video genre from a mere promotional tool into an art form. His innovative approach reshaped how music was presented visually, leaving an indelible mark on the industry. Michael Jackson is a crossover artist whose appeal transcends boundaries of race, culture, and age, captivating audiences worldwide. His repertoire includes timeless classics such as Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Billie Jean, Beat It, Smooth Criminal, We Are the World, Black or White, and Will You Be There. These iconic songs, penned 35-40 years ago, continue to resonate with audiences, standing the test of time. In recognition of his songwriting prowess, Jackson has been rightfully inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Michael Jackson's influence extends far beyond his own era, shaping the artistry of numerous contemporary artists. Renowned figures such as Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, Justin Timberlake, Beyoncé, Usher, and Britney Spears, among many others, have drawn inspiration from his groundbreaking work. In closing, Janet Jackson's recent revelations about her brother Michael Jackson's life have ignited widespread debate and contemplation regarding the intricacies of his legacy. As we navigate through the startling truths that have emerged after 15 years of silence, it's crucial to engage in discussions with empathy, comprehension, and a dedication to uncovering justice and truth. What do you make of Janet's disclosures? Do you feel they provide fresh insights into Michael's life, or do they contribute further to the ongoing speculation? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, remember to show your support by liking and subscribing for more engaging content.